Right now in Wake County, a couple of schools being put on lockdown. Police responding to the first code red lockdown at Zebulon Middle School around 8:30.
A short time later, a security concern led officials to issue another code red lockdown at East Millbrook Magnet School. That lockdown has since been lifted. We have live team coverage with Tamara Scott and Elena Athens. Elena, first of all, we understand another Wake County school is now on code yellow lockdown.
Yeah, well, Barbara, in the last 30 minutes, we did get an update from the Zebulon police chief. There is no longer a code red lockdown here. That has been downgraded to a modified yellow. And the chief also tells us that there is an early dismissal today. So right now, there are parents, we're going to give you a live look of that, waiting in a rather long line for their children to come out of the school. As you can see right here with those flashing blue lights, there are police on scene kind of helping with what can be a very chaotic situation, but there are a number of officers either in the street directing traffic or helping children get to their respective parents' car. So here's what we know of the actual investigation. Officers say there is no active shooter in that school, or was at any point. Law enforcement did do several sweeps of the building and cleared the school room by room. We have seen canines go into the school and help with those efforts. The school was put on alert this morning following a social media threat, and police sprung into action to investigate.
But we do not feel it to be an credible threat at this time, but for safety's sake, to make sure we're going to clear the entire school.
So when the chief was speaking today, she also spoke about those the resources that are used in situations like this, and said and spoke of, if it turns out to be false, the chief has says we have got to get to a point where people are held accountable for their actions, even if that is young people. So that's the latest on where things stand in terms of the investigation. Now let's head over to my colleague, Tamara Scott.
Thank you, Elena. And you know, we've both been out here early this morning just following what's been going on. And while the police were dealing with that on campus, right across the street, there was just a crowd of parents who had come over here after their children sent them very scary text messages about being scared in the school following all of those threats that might have been going on inside. Certainly a very scary moment for parents. So the parking lot here was full. The shopping center down the road was full. And now at this point, we do see these parents lining up in that line. I know, Lena, you showed us a while ago goes that way, and it's starting to line up here as well. So only a few hours ago that we learned that parents started getting those scared texts from their children when they were on that code red lockdown. We know at this time that has been lifted and downgraded, and there are no confirmed injuries, but it still sent those shockwaves to the families. Now, Zebulon police did designate the shopping mall as a place to pick up children early, and parents since then did crowd the area here. Now, many are saying that these threats are happening just all too frequently at this point. The school had a code yellow lockdown and extra police at the school already earlier this week. Here's what some parents had to say.
I did receive a text from my son, and he did state that, can you pray for Zebulon? We're under a code red.
Very nerve-wracking because we don't know what the outcome is or the what ifs of what's going on.
I personally cannot make sense of it, and to see the number of codes that have occurred in the past, I don't know what's going on. Something's happening.
And certainly, of course, that's just a very scary moment for the students and for the parents. So a lot of parents we spoke with say they're going to be checking in on their kids' mental health coming home from school today. But of course, you know, this is just a very scary situation for a lot of people. I'll send it back to you.
Indeed it is. Very scary. Thank you, Tamara.